Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is some things I believe you should be doing a day before your exam, and this is really last minute revision tips. And honestly, I didn't revise a lot in my GCSEs. I got all A's and A stars, or 9s, 8s and 7s, so I think that these tips actually work during my GCSEs. So without further ado, I'm gonna begin. So the first thing is, obviously your first exam you can't do this, but let's say you've just had an exam and you've came home. Now I want you to forget about today's exam. Forget about it. There's no point of just regretting it, beating yourself up for it. I know it's natural, it happens to me, it happens to you, it happens to my friends, it happens to everyone out there. It is natural, but you need to avoid it, because the thing is, there's no point of beating yourself up for an exam. You know, you can regret, you can do anything, but you have to forget. So this is my revision technique that I revised. So teach your notes to your imaginary class. Teach your notes, your flashcards, or however you have your notes, you know, whatever you have, you know, even a revision guide. So teach your notes, learn the content for tomorrow's exam. This is my go-to revision technique, and I literally cannot say this enough that I think this revision technique definitely works for all types of learners. I won't guarantee it, but it works. If you want a demonstration, go check out my English literature video and it explains it. This works with science, every subject. It literally works with every single subject, I promise you. Also, if you have two exams on the same day, like I know geography and English literature are usually on the same day, so I would do geography at this point because geography was a bit easier than English literature. I'm not saying that because I find them both equally hard, but English literature is just a bit more harder, I guess. So yeah, I would do geography at this point, and I'll tell you when you should do English literature. After this, after you've taught your notes or however you revised or went through your flashcards, what you want to do now is you want to do exam practice. I idealistically would tell you to get last year's paper for maths and English, but I know for geography, science and the other subjects there's no last year's paper. So get out a specimen or a paper that you've never seen. Now you might have seen every single paper, that's possible, but try to just get a paper that you've not really seen. And if you've done every single paper there is in the world, well, you're prepared, well done. Push yourself and do another exam board. And try to do this in timed condition. But how I would do this is, you have question 1, you have question 2, you have question 3 in every single exam paper. Say question 1 is out of 12 marks. And so you have 12 minutes, time yourself, and after 12 minutes you can't do anything. You have to mark question 1 and then move on to question 2. The reason why I would recommend doing it this way, because the question is still fresh in your mind and that's something you want. So, but you can do the whole paper and mark at the end, but that's just how I prefer it. After doing all of this, what I would recommend is getting out any papers you've done in the past, and every single question you've gotten wrong, write it down on a flashcard. And you don't necessarily have to understand it at this point, but write it down on the flashcard, literally like every single question you've got wrong in the past, or any from papers you find, and even the paper that you've recently just done. After this, take a break. Now I hope you've taken a break after, you know, I forgot to mention this, but after you've taught your notes and before you start your exam practice, I hope you've had a 10 minutes break. But in this 10 minutes break, I want you to meditate. Go on Headspace's YouTube, or you know, if you're really religious and you pray, that is meditation let alone. But make sure you're really focused on the meditation, you know. Just take a deep breath and relax. And now after this, at this point, I recommend going to bed. So I hope it's probably like try to do all of this by 7 p.m. Now I know sometimes you might not, so at the beginning we didn't have study leave, so I understand it's harder to do this at this point maybe, but just try to go to bed ASAP, like literally. Thing is, I I think revising in the morning before the exam is more helpful because after a good night's sleep, you're more fresh, your brain is more fresh. So I recommend sleeping at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. and waking up at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And from that, at this point, if you do 2 subjects, you can revise your other subject and just go over the other subject. So after you wake up, when you wake up at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., you can wake up a bit later. So what you're going to do at this point is you want to go through your notes once again, but do a bit faster so that you have, time. So go through your notes, and now what you want to do is get your laptop or iPad or wherever you use YouTube and search up and go through a paper. So maths does this and science. I'm not sure about geography and English. So with English you can use Mr. Bruff or Mrs. Welland's English. I hope I said that right. And with geography, I just recommend going through your notes over and over and over and over again. Literally just keep going over them, or keep going through more past papers, remember it, and go through the flashcards of answers you've gotten wrong. And if you want more specific subject advice on what you should do in the morning, let me know in the comments and I will tell you that. But that's just some examples. So go through YouTube, go through papers, and this is just getting you into the exam zone. And then just revise until you feel like, okay, now I need to go get ready for school, put your uniform on and go to school. Now, I recommend when you get to school, go a bit early if you want, go ask teachers for help if you want, but go to teachers if you are stuck on a certain topic and ask them how to do it. But what I do definitely recommend now is go to a place where there's not a lot of people. So because people are going to come up to you and be like, oh my god, I'm so stressed, and that will stress you out even more. You don't need that. Go through. So what you want to do at school, you want to just before the exam, you don't have to revise, but actually I wouldn't recommend revising before the exam. But if there's something you really can't remember, literally like you can't remember it, and it's something that will just leave your brain in a second, just before the exam, get a flashcard, write it down, and then before you enter the exam, just keep repeating in your brain. Make sure you don't talk to anyone when you're entering the exam. And as soon as you get your exam paper, get a pencil, and at the top of the exam paper, I'm not sure if you're allowed to do this, but I did it, so I feel like you might be, because now you're writing your name. Just at the top or in the side somewhere with a pencil, just quickly write down what you can't remember and just put your pencil down, and then you can just forget it, and then you can just relax. And that's what I done during my GCSEs, and I think it really did work.
And then the cycle repeats. So after you've done the exam, go straight home and repeat. Don't expect too much. Even if you've worked hours and hours and hours and you've only got a C, at least you've passed. And I'm so damn proud of you for doing that. So don't beat yourself up for any instance of life. Don't.